Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to review episode 7 of Swamp Thing. So, the episode left off as, with Avery in the swamp. Now he bumps into Swamp Thing, and they talk, and Swamp Thing does blame Avery for, at least holds Avery as one of the people accountable for his condition. Avery trying to save his ass, saying, hey, you know what? I got a doctor. And I know this doctor who came in after you. He can help you. Let me go back to town and I'll bring him to the swamp. And Avery essentially lets him go. Abby. I feel bad for Abby because she's in love with Swamp Thing. She can't exactly be with Swamp Thing in the moment. And her, I think it's her boss that was saying, where have you been? You have practically been ghosting us. Why are you staying in this town? Yada 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 yada. And she's waiting for the sample that she took from Swamp Thing in last week's episode, or the last episode I should say, to be ready. And she has the help from one of her friends that was sick, like a few episodes before, that was cured. He gets kidnapped, though, in this episode. And one of the people that helped pretty much take down Avery in his position came to Abby when Abby returned to work the following day after her friend got kidnapped. Her car was denied. There was a meeting. The guy was saying, yeah, I know everything that I know what you've been up to. I know you've been seeing Swamp, I forget his, Alec, I think it's his name. I know you've been seeing Alec, and I know you've been treating him off the book. Yeah, that whole meeting doesn't go well. I'm purposely going to leave that part kind of fake, so if you guys want to watch the series, at least you guys got at least one thing that I did not spoil. But just know that meeting didn't go well. Back on the swamp, Avery and that scientist that Avery mentioned earlier goes on the swamp. Avery tries to fulfill his promise to Swamp Thing scientist, but Swamp Thing gets kind of runs off when the scientist says, "Oh, we need to take more tests, but we need to do it at our lab." He said, "No." So he runs. And as conniving and sneaky as Avery is, he sneakily brings SWAT or some sort of special forces to try to bring something in. And there's this fight between these special forces and Avery. Not Avery, Swamp Thing. And as soon as it looks like Swamp Thing's gonna win, he loses. Because Avery picks up a gun from one of the fallen men and just shoots Avery. Shoots Swamp Thing, letting the other people with the cryogenic guns. For those of you who doesn't know what cryogenic means, in this case, I think it just means frozen guns. So just think of Mr. Freeze, and you get the picture. So with their ice guns, as I like to call them, they freeze Swamp Thing. And the episode ends with Swamp Thing getting kidnapped practically, and Abby going to the swamp, calling out for Swamp Thing, and seeing no Swamp Thing. And that's how the episode ends. Like I said before, I am enjoying the show, and truth be told, like with Stargirl, I did not expect myself to enjoy this show as much as I have. I think it was either my Injustice stream or one of my Kingdom Hearts streams where one of my friends, who's a regular viewer in my streams, he said, "Hey, Swamp Thing is on the CW." I was excited because I always wanted to see Swamp Thing. I knew that it was like it had 2 seasons before it get canceled, which I have a feeling is gonna get renewed for a 3rd season because Fairy Odd Parents, for example, got canceled multiple times and then got renewed multiple times. So it can easily get renewed for a 3rd season. Of course, after this pandemic's over, whenever that is. And so, I think that's why they are having it on the CW, is because they're wanting to renew it for the 3rd season. This episode was pretty good. I like the acting, like as always. The plot is good, the story's good. I like the tone, and I'm enjoying learning more about Swamp Thing. Because I'll be completely honest, I've heard about Swamp Thing. I know there's this animated Swamp Thing movie that came out like last year or 2 years ago, within the last few years, that has Mark Hamill voice as Swamp Thing. I want to see it, even before watching the Swamp Thing show. I always wanted to see it. Never had the chance. And maybe one day I will have the chance to watch that animated Swamp Thing movie with Mark Hamill voicing Swamp Thing. It's fun learning more about Swamp Thing. More about his abilities. And the whole... pretty much learning more about Swamp Thing in general. It's interesting. Even though he might not be one of my favorite DC Comics heroes, I am still liking him. But I think Abby will, in next episode, will end up finding out about Swamp Thing, what happened to Swamp Thing, and try to push him out, and barely succeed. I have a strong feeling that Abby will not get killed in this season, because outside of Swamp Thing, him being the star of the show Swamp Thing, I think Abby is the main star of Swamp Thing if you temporarily remove Swamp Thing out of the picture. And I like the show, it's really good. I like it, I'm a fan of it. And like I said, I don't know that much. I don't really know anything about the Swamp Thing lore, so I'm just learning about it. So I'm liking it, and I can see this potentially being connected to the Arrowverse. And before you guys say, "Well, it can't," I mean, Black Lightning wasn't part of the Arrowverse for the first 2 seasons. Supergirl wasn't part of the Arrowverse within their first season, even though they had a crossover with Flash. And in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, they teased Stargirl, they teased Titans, and they teased Swamp Thing in that show, in the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. And Crisis on Infinite Earths is the last and biggest and most epic and my personal favorite Arrowverse crossover of all the crossovers. And I do believe, if I remember correctly, I haven't seen Crisis on Infinite Earths within like a few months, like 3 or 4 months. But I do believe in the beginning, it kind of teases like Titans, Swamp Thing, and Stargirl. But I do know towards the end of the episode, when Oliver does his monologue at the end, we do see like Titans, which was a DC Nation TV series. Swamp Thing, who was on DC Nation TV's streaming service, and Stargirl, which is, I believe it's just a new show that so happens to be on the CW. Or no, I forget what channels Stargirl was on for the first season, but I think it was pulled to the CW. And I did a week by week episode recap of Stargirl. So if you guys want to see my reviews on Stargirl, check that out. I even made a playlist. And I even made a playlist for my Swamp Thing reviews. But so far, I'm liking the show. I'm liking the episode. I'm excited to see the next episode. So, have you guys seen the episode? What do you guys think about the episode? Leave a comment down below. Love y'all. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. And I'll talk to you guys later.